It is Niemira from Fintech and Founding Conference 2019, and we have a pleasure talking to Iorio, co-founder of Ethereum and the founder of Decentral. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
It's great. Well, you had so many interesting adventures and investment in ventures. Like, we are at the Fearless Conference. Are you naturally fearless?
I think as an entrepreneur, you take a lot of risks. I don't think fearless, though. I think there still has to be something that holds you back from doing. I mean, you can do a lot of crazy things, but I think there still has to be something that's holding you back from doing things that would be more detrimental to you. But yeah, I'm definitely a risk taker and have some level of fearlessness, but there's still, I think, the fine line you have to tread between taking it over the top. So a level of it, maybe.
Sixth sense, your gut feeling always helps.
Yeah, I do mostly on gut feeling. Yeah, gut feeling, relationships with people, and principles, I think.
Well, when you're talking just generally about investing in the companies and innovative technologies, a lot of investors, as a matter of fact, is fear for the future, right? Mm-hmm. And they're saying, there's so many challenges, like, is it really worth it for me to fight? But they are the fights which are better not to take, and they are the ones, the challenges, the ones which are really worth to fight for. Like, what is truly, the worth to fight for when it comes to, investing in the innovative technology or building innovative technology?
I think a lot of the stuff I look to invest in is something that matches well with my business and what we're doing and adds complementary value to it. I don't stress out too much about my investments. I've got a really good investment team that I work with that does a lot of the work for me and does a lot of the screening and everything. But I don't think too much about my investments either. And I never, even when I first got into crypto, and things go up, things go down. It's just, I don't stress about it too much. And hopefully over time you've made some good decisions, and I've been fortunate to do that over the years.
You just let it go.
Yeah, I don't. Money's such an interesting thing that I'm realizing more and more, and is the root of a lot of problems and troubles. And as I said in the panel, I'm really more about simplifying things right now, and I don't worry too much about my investments. And I've got a lot of things I've done over the last couple of years. Some will turn out, some won't. It's not a big mind thing that I'm putting a lot of thought and effort into right now.
Plus, at the same time, the life goes on. You don't want to completely stop your life just because you have a company. It's all about the balance. So, yeah. How those entrepreneurs can balance their life, between what they're creating and how much time they are investing in the entrepreneurship, and at the same time, live their lives.
I think I'm still learning what that balance is, and.
Maybe that balance comes that sometimes you're dedicating yourself more to the venture, and then eventually with time the balance comes.
Well, no, but I guess what I mean is that I go very deep into things, and I go very hard into things, and I take on more and more, and then I need a reset. So I'm trying to figure out, how do I create a steady balance in my work life, my family life, without having to need these hard resets where I get overwhelmed with things, and then I have to do almost like a retreat to get the energy back to go again. And I'd rather have it where I can consistently figure out ways that I can not get to the point that I get overwhelmed with things. So I'm still trying to figure out and learn how to do that. But when you are a risk taker, and when you're involved in things that have so many aspects to it, and you've got the employees, you've got regulations, you've got technology, you've got all these things. Yes. I think the key of what I'd like to finally achieve is to be able to have a consistent level where I'm not getting to a point that I'm like, this is too much, and I have to step back a bit and then regain my energy and go back at it again and keep going. I want to kind of figure out how I can maintain a steady balance of that. And it's something that I haven't quite done yet. but I'm working on.
So do you think that certain things are definitely, better with time? That the peace and the development, your experience and your expertise comes with time, and that brings at the same time, some kind of the peaceful.
Yeah, it's all about,
solution.
and it's. I know it's going to get there for me when it gets there. It's about experience. It's about learning things.
Yes.
It's about not making the same mistakes again. It's about how do you balance with your principles, with also things that you need to adjust and change as things happen. I've always been someone that I've ridden ups and downs a lot over the years, and that's just been my thing. Is if I had exited when Bitcoin started doing well, that wouldn't have funded Ethereum. If I had done it with Ethereum, that wouldn't have done other things that I've done. So now we've had some. The markets last year have been pretty bad, but I still stick by my thing of.
It's getting better.
It's getting
It's getting better. I hear it.
But it's such a short-term thing too, and I don't. The short-term moves are not really interesting to me either.
But at the same time, isn't that a part of being something pleasurable in life, that expect unexpected, right? You cannot just predict everything. That would be a little bit too boring.
Well, it's completely unpredictable. I've learned that. It doesn't even make sense to think about it. And when I start looking at the markets again, I try to catch myself. Don't even bother. There's no very long-term thinking is what I like to do.
Yes, well, some people try to outwit the market, and they thinking that they can, with them being 24/7 into it, they can in a way control it, right, with their mind. I don't think that goes this way.
I don't think so either.
Yes, and I think it's just generally better to cool down and have everything, taken from the perspective as you are doing that. And as you mentioned, that what you've done when it comes to the Bitcoin, then it created the Ethereum.
It creates
right?
opportunities.
Because it creates the opportunities, right? You didn't just exit right away. So isn't all about patience?
Mm-hmm. Patience, learning, changing the way you do things based on what you're learning, and adapting and evolving, and yeah.
So, word of advice for the new entrepreneurs getting into innovative technologies?
I don't like to give advice, but what I've learned, I've had a passion for the space for a while. I've kept up with it. It's been now 6 years that I've been in the blockchain or the decentralized tech space, and it's about building out your network, building out your community, identifying by being around a lot of people in the space what's going to work, what's not going to work. It's about being diplomatic and being inclusive and trying to create wins for everybody, and not trying to look at even your competitors as competitors, but more about how can they help you in what you're doing. And it's about just consistently learning and trying things, and underlying it, I think, is figuring out what it is that you believe in and sticking to it.
Yes, I like what you said. Passion. Is it not the driving force?
Yeah, without the passion, it's hard to get up every day.
Yes, that's one thing. And at the same time, some entrepreneurs are getting and trying to create something just because they're thinking, that is going to bring them money or popularity.
And that's not the.
That's not the attitude.
To me, it's shifting more to how I think it needs to be looked at how and what the role of money plays in everything. I think it needs to be redesigned and redeveloped, and it's more about an impact and how do you maximize impact rather than maximizing returns for shareholders. And I think if everything's driven by money, you're going to have a reduction in the areas such as how you're impacting people and impacting things is going to go down. And I think that needs to be switched. It needs to be how do we actually are impacting and creating better value and improving people's lives should be the thing that's driven the most. But right now, I think it's not the right formula, the way things about just making money, and that leads to a lot of issues and a lot of problems.
So creating the companies with real solutions to real problems.
Real problems. And then it's all at the end of the day, it's about how do you create value for people and improve people's lives. That's basically what everybody's striving to do or should be striving to do, but it ends up being a lot of people, how do you enriching your own life? And that doesn't fit, I don't think so. I think there needs to be more discussion and thinking about money, and if that's what in the future will be the major driver is making money, or how do we actually impact people's lives?
Can blockchain improve people's life?
Yeah, I think it can empower people, that improves their lives, but it also leads to a lot of issues as well. And a lot of people aren't ready to be in control of their lives too. So most people, I think, right now would say that they're happy with not being in full control, and they don't want that responsibility and that risk. But I think it will lead to services and opportunities that will help mitigate that, but yet still empower people.
There's like a lot of talk about blockchain scalability. That this is like really what it's stopping that technology from expanding. Mm-hmm. Is it truly a very urgent problem to blockchain?
Yeah, I think there's trade-offs right now with scalability. The more scalability, the more global and scalable the systems are, the less decentralized they are. So you have a lot of projects that are trying to find the good middle ground on those two things. Mm-hmm. I don't think scalability will be an issue down the road, and I think it's going to be solved, and that will lead to a lot of disruption in every sector you can think of, and will lead to things cheaper, better, and faster, and more choice for individuals, but we're not there yet.
If you look fearlessly into the future, do you think that blockchain technology will be standing on its own, or is rather going to be like underlying technology, like running behind? Like nowadays, nobody says, I have an internet at home.
No,
right?
it won't be seen, I don't think. It'll just be that people will have more trust in the systems. But I don't think it's going to be, it's been used too much as more of a marketing or PR term without people fully understanding it. And I think it's going to be something that's going to disappear into the background, but it will lead to more trust and transparency, which is what people are going to demand.
Do you think that like combining blockchain and artificial intelligence makes sense?
Yeah,
I heard one of the person speaking, it's like Romeo and Juliet, that they're romancing together.
I think they'll fit together. I haven't put too much thought into it though, on how the two will complement each other. It's just something I haven't thought about really.
So for now, you're keeping them separately. They're saying, yes, it makes sense, but how everything is going to evolve, the future is going to show.
Yeah, I'd have to spend some time thinking about it to actually give you a better answer on that.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Anthony.
You're welcome.
Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
And enjoy the rest of the conference if you are staying.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.